Hello, ladies and lazy lovers alike. Welcome to our event today as part of the GRA Pop-Up Festival. I'm super excited to be here collaborating with The Hist to debate the motion, "This House believes that Irish men are lazy lovers."
Find out all the answers to your burning questions like, what would it be like to date cuddle from normal people? And I said cuddle, not Paul Mescal. Are the boys and players good in bed? Or will they just read you a love sonnet and call the climactic stanza an orgasm? Is it true that debaters who describe their political allegiance as on the right side of fascism are afraid of vaginas? How could you ever want more? There will be 6 speakers from both societies in tonight's debate, 3 in the proposition and 3 in the opposition. Each speaker will talk for 5 minutes and hopefully we'll all be laughing along in the chat. Disclaimer, this is for shits and giggles. To any man who may be offended by the opinions expressed in this debate, we love you truly, I promise. And please go ahead and slide into my DMs because I seem to adore romantically pursuing men who are easily emasculated. Myself and Antonia want this event to be a super fun and informal experience, so please sit back and enjoy the show and make friends, goddammit, go wild. At the end of the debate, we encourage you to put your opinions in the chat too. Are Irishmen lazy lovers? Any hot takes will be greatly judged and berated, I assure you. Also, we are in the business of spilling tea, so certainly let us know of any truly horrendous romantic or sexual experiences you have had with Irishmen in the past. Oh, and hype up my debate, because I'm first prop. Thank you.
So first up today, proposing the motion is Eva O'Byrne, a dual member of both Players and The Hist, but Players have claimed her today.
Really, before I begin this speech, I want to give a massive shout out to all the Irishmen who actually haven't been my lover. And I really want to congratulate them because they should just keep doing what they're doing and stay far away from me. Because throughout this speech, you will realize that even Irishmen at their supposed best are simply the worst. And to the ones who from the past who have been involved with me, I didn't ask to be gaslit, disappointed, constantly again and again. And I know you can't get me out of your head a la Kylie Minogue, but still, please, sincerely, fuck off before I begin this speech. So really, I want to give a quick disclaimer. The format of this speech is actually non-typical. It is rather a summary of research that I've conducted since Antonia grabbed me for this. And it felt like being picked first for PE in school, to be honest, when she sent this text to me. But looking back, I really can't decide if she thinks that I'm funny or good at debating. And I hate to disappoint when I'm probably not good at both, but still, let's hope that I can borrow enough things from my time in debating and from my time in Players to create this hybrid of a shit speech. So I've decided to take a few elements from British parliamentary style in order to set the scene for this. And really, hopefully I can deliver some analysis and some reasons as to why Irish men, even the best of the best, are simply not good enough for any Irish woman. So without further ado, I will now present to you a short presentation that I have made called Ranking Irish Men by How Shit They Would Be as a Lover. So ranking Irish men by how shit they would be as lovers, or as they have been, who knows. Please send in your guesses to any of these, which actually have been my lovers, via DM, and if you get them right, I'll probably buy you a shot. Anyways, so number 1, the honourable mention of the dear darling of Trinity, Conall Waldron, Paul Mescal, whatever his name is, the guy everyone will bring up during this debate because it's pre-recorded and we all need a solid, non-obscure reference for the whole audience to, laugh at. So I think he has a man versus Muppet complex in the sense that, he really can't decide who he is. Is he this country boy from Sligo who loves GAA and grey tracksuit bottoms and his little chain? Or is he, the rugby guy from Kildare? We actually may never know. Is the chain actually gold? Shouldn't it turn green eventually? And so really, this is my point. Throughout normal people, it actually never changes color. So, and we kind of get the impression that it's not gold, that it's Argos chic. So really, he's not exerting himself that much if it's not changing color. So poor Marianne, really. I do think he has unresolved mother issues on both sides of the board, regardless of it, if it's the character or not. He's probably not that lazy. to be honest, but it won't be spicy as my evidence suggests. If the vanilla flavor needed a poster boy, they have found him. I know for a fact that he uses the crying laughing emoji unironically, and his laziness ranking, let's put him at a 4 out of 10, but his lousiness ranking is certainly a 5 out of 10. Next, the hot priest from Fleabag is our first serious candidate. He makes me feel things, and my mom also fancies him, so this is a weird comparison. He's a prick who puts religion first, and that's a case for laziness for me, because he probably needs to shower after sex, so he doesn't bother to exert himself. And he gets the biggest picture within this debate because I love him very, very much. Next, Bram Stoker, generic white guy. There's not much to say, and I needed a Trinity reference that wasn't Conal Waldron. He will steal other people's ideas. He is involved in debating, so you know he's a prick, and because he was in The Hist and the film, double whammy. He may have been into some kinky shit because of Dracula, but really, I think this is him again, stealing other stuff. Like, he's one of those guys who'll see a TikTok about how to be freaky and just try way too hard, like the lip biting photos. Number 3, Hosier. He won't finish because he'll probably be crying. He's a feminist in the streets, but will tell you to work in the sheets so he doesn't mess up his lovely, lovely flowing locks of hair. So, number 4, Leo Radker. Gosh, if he's a disappointment to his parents, he'll certainly disappoint everyone else. He looks promising and that he might have the whole package, but he will fuck your whole life up and not be sorry about it. He's also a Capricorn. He'll also promise to do the work, but he won't do it. So that's why I definitely think that, certainly not our best for anything. Number 5, Eamon Ryan. Need I say more? I love all these examples, don't you? Number 6, Jedward. They do everything in pairs, and that doesn't seem like there's any productivity. If they're on their own in a pair, you're not going to get anything. And Jedward Let Loose is actually one of my comfort depression TV shows. And being in any sort of scenario, even if it's romantic with them, seems like it's hell, like you're looking after 2 toddlers. And these are people who nearly won the Eurovision. Like, we cannot trust any form of man, be it in entertainment, politics, anything at this point. They've slid into my DMs multiple times, and I'd love to provide the evidence to anyone who's wondering what they have said to me. Number whatever, all my ex-boyfriends. Women are great. I don't need to say anything else. Next, best students, a modern day horror story of bad sex and bragging. And I will be starting a post-best fling support group when needs be. If people need me to do this, I will do it for them. And to be honest, at the end of this presentation, you kind of have to realize that at the end of the day, these are all supposed to be like great people and people who can achieve a lot, and they're kind of like held in a certain calabra. And when you realize that these are supposedly the best Irishmen, I don't think that the opposition in this debate, any of their cases actually hold, because if we can expect this from the greats, how can we expect anything from the average ones? So at the end of the day, women are great. That's it. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much for that, Eva. Next up, we have Maeve opposing the motion.
Ladies and gentlemen of Players, The Hist, and the wider student population of Trinity College Dublin, men are trash. A phrase we love to say, understandably. I genuinely feel serotonin rush through my veins just by uttering the sentence. In the moment, I can almost hear the patriarchy dismantling temporarily, like the shattering of an ice glacier in the distance. Maybe it's an illusion of power that we create for ourselves, but oh boy, does it relieve some pain, if only briefly. If you are fortunate enough to be sexually and romantically oriented away from men entirely, certainly you can hang out with the prop and indeed suggest that Irish men are lazy lovers, or perhaps you may even wish to ignore the existence of men entirely. Oh, how jealous I am of you and your sense. Unfortunately, I am of the variety of humans who find men attractive, ? A species of fools we are, and yet we cannot seem to overcome our affliction. And sure, there may be better men out there in the vast universe or in Europe, but the likelihood is, especially in a pandemic, that I will never reach the greener, more potent other side. Therefore we must maintain a positive mindset about the lot that we've got and seek to understand their unusual, infuriating ways in the hope that we can change them for the better. So, without further ado, here it is. May Burton Hurley's Comprehensive Guide to Dating Irish Men. Let's try that again. Comprehensive Guide to Dating Irish Men. Follow this guide carefully, and I assure you, at least in your head, you can convince yourself of his perfection. Number 1. Sincerely, he does not understand the consequences of his actions. Trust me when I say, Irish men are dim when it comes to love. They've been poisoned by years of American sitcoms to believe that the basic respect and attention that their usually female partners expect from them is a sign of our obsessiveness and outright insanity. Never doubt yourself. It is not insane to ask that he put aside his communist fight against capitalism for one fucking day and get your roses on the 14th. Wild how debaters in Trinity think that principles are more important than decency. Actually, don't date debaters in general. Should that be a separate point? Anyway, I think a big problem is that they don't realise that starting a date on time or saying that they would love you if you were a worm or texting you goodnight are actually just daily ways to express affection. Would you love me if I were a worm translates to would you love me no matter what I looked like? Isn't that simple after all? He doesn't know this shit, I'm telling you. It's a product of social stupidity rather than laziness or not wanting to bother in general. I would usually say it's not your responsibility to educate the dumb, but again, we don't have very much choice in the matter. The pool of men is small. Number 2, the Mescal method. Interpret his intentions, not his actions. It genuinely blew my mind when the entire nation, including my weak-ass self, fell for Connell based purely on the arch of his chest under a chain. Connell, played by Paul Mescal in the TV adaptation of Normal People, is the epitome of an Irishman, especially the rural kind found here in Meath. His only outward personality trait is GAA, and he's sexy because of it, but so badly socialised that when you ask him a simple question like, do you mind getting me a cup of tea? He spirals into a pit of awkwardness that all he can manage to say is, I don't know, a great Connell impression, indeed. It's spectacular to witness, truly. The Connell species of Irishman cannot read or engage in social cues. He will never define the relationship ever, as in you could be 3 years into a friendship with him and ask him outwardly whether it's something more and he'll be surprised. When you express your devotion to him, he will not respond with, I don't like you that way, or this will never happen, because that kind of confrontation is just too much. So he will instead say that he's not over his last relationship or some shit like that to keep you on the hook. He is lazy. He's not lazy, however, he is awkward and dumb. Number 3, role model roulette. His entire personality was formed when he saw The Wolf of Wall Street at age 14, and it fucking shows. Role models are integral to the development of identity, ladies and gentlemen. And if Jordan Belfort, I had to Google his actual name, is your crushes, you have a problem in your hands and very little of actual girth anywhere else. Heed my warning. Look twice before you cross the road. If you spot him sashaying across campus, equipped with a monstrous business book and the conversation skills of a gargling goldfish, I suggest you swiftly turn back. This is probably a point for prop, but I don't care. Number 4, my very own sob story. When an Irish boy says, is it okay if I stay over at my girl best friend's house after this party? He's potentially planning to cheat on you with said girl best friend. I know this from personal experience. Aww, there's no one in this room. Very awkward considering all 3 of us were in the same friend group and she ended up telling me months later. This is an example of trash behaviour, but I would suggest it's not lazy behaviour per se, because it requires a whole lot of energy to concoct an elaborate cheating scheme. Silver lining though, now we know not to go out with the boy who plays bass in the shit secondary school band. See how we learn. We wouldn't have learned that lesson had we not gone out with this particular Irish boy in the first place. Number 5, arts block boys break hearts for art. And I'd really like any first years in the room to properly internalise and listen to this message. So let's say you're a bright-eyed first year, eager to leave the Connell brand of Irishmen behind in your suburban hometown and find a sensitive city boy who may finally tell you that you have bewitched him, body and soul. You'll find him, all right, in the smoking area of Workman's, inhaling rollies and quoting the movie adaptations of great literature. He'll seduce you with eye contact and a dress sense and hair that you'll describe as unruly and unkempt in your work-in-progress Wattpad fanfic. And I'll see him the next day in an English tutorial once he's crept out of your room and halls never to call you again. I'll watch him spout lines about a prescribed text he read from Sparks Notes the night before with absolute confidence, while he slowly rubs his fingers together in an I know how to please you kind of way that he thinks is enthralling but is actually revolting. Okay, there you have it. That's my speech. What's my finishing line? Okay. I hope my speech has taught you something and shown that when it comes to Irish men, laziness is not the prevalent issue, though there are many other problems. Irish men, can't live with them, can't live without them, eh? And with that, I close my maybe it's opposition if you look at it the right way debate. Lots of love.
Well done, Maeve. Next up we have Gabby, so welcome, Gabby.
Hey guys, it's very late in my house. It's midnight. I have to send this to Antonia very soon, so we're just whatever I say, it's going in the video. Welcome to a Playhist versus Players debate. I don't know where I am in the speaking order, so I don't know. But anyway, I've never been to a debate, nor have I ever spoken at a debate, and anyone who says any differently is a liar. And therefore, because I do not know how debates work, because again, I have never done a debate, and I'm here with DU players because I've never ever done a debate before, means that I'm broadly unclear as to how debates are supposed to work, because I've never ever been to one. So I've decided to proceed as the prosecution against boys for being lazy lovers, bad at love, romance, and generally impatient with love, I suppose. So I would like to begin my case by entering some facts into evidence. So this is, I think, a pretty good summary of players' boys. So Exhibit A. Being a girl and liking Radiohead ain't as rare as you think. Relax, they are plenty. I think she's right. He says, I've never met one in my life. 2. Exhibit B. It's so late. Want to watch Wes Anderson and drink red wine? We could self-loathe and pretend we're cool. Please, if you'd like to self-loathe and pretend that we're cool, come along to DU Players every Wednesday at 8:30. Exhibit B. Sorry, this one gets me. I do not deal in base desires such as social media. I pursue beautiful women and even more beautiful poetry. I think it's important to read them out loud because you kind of get the sense of exactly how the fuck could someone say that. Hist boys. These are actually accurate. I stand by my selections. These are of course all from Beam Me Up Soft Boy, that Instagram account that's really funny. But they're real things that were sent to people that are sent in. You can read these. I'll give you a moment for silent reading. Like, you know, they do that in lectures. Sorry. Pineapple on pizza, yes, no. So, I know what you're thinking. Gabby, you got all of that from the internet. True. So, I did what any investigative journalist should do in this situation, and I decided to gather some first-hand information by going into my Facebook message requests, which I never do because there is not good stuff in there. I do not trust you. If you do not send me a message request, I will never open it. So I decided to gather some first-hand information by going into my message requests, and as you can imagine, it was not good. It was not a pleasant experience. Why would you send a stranger this? The first exhibit here, you can see it's high, and then less than a day later, I think that's a real peak of impatience. Real, I suppose, I know that's not like lazy, but you can see how they're related, and you're not willing to, do the, real work for love. He says hi, and then he challenges me. He says, call me direct to meet me quickly. I wonder what would happen if I would have called him He really didn't let much time elapse. 31st of August to 1st of September, I knew it looks like it's a month, but that's how they get you. And this is another man asking me if this was something I would be interested in. Love, sex, and life. All interesting and large concepts, but why would you send a stranger these things? And to round it up, because apparently these minutes features are 5 minutes, and I think I've maybe nearly met that, is I want to tell you some fun stories about boys. And the first, and I think this really shows the height of men's romantic and kind of capabilities here in Ireland. So I used to go to stage school when I was a kid, and in stage school, for the first, 20 minutes or whatever of singing class, you would sing the songs that you were all going to sing together in whatever show was coming up or whatever you were doing. And then at the end, the last 20 minutes, you'd be allowed to sing whatever fun pop song was hot at that time. So at the time, Broken Strings by Nelly Furtado and whoever else she sings that with, you can't play on broken strings. Yeah, if we'd all sing it together if this was in person. Was really hot at the time, so our teacher had said if we, behaved and got through all of the work, we would sing Broken Strings by Nelly Furtado, which people were really, really hyped about. Like, it meant a lot to us at the time. So then, everyone was, misbehaving, everyone was just, going crazy, because, you're, 8, and, at that age, there was a group of boys who were kind of in stage school, but, pretended they weren't there of their own volition, like that they just, somehow magically, they'd be like, oh, I don't want to sing and dance, but they'd obviously were in stage school, so they did. Sad for them, honestly, hypermasculinity, but they were all kind of, just sitting at the back, doing their bits, and then we were all being rowdy, and the teacher said, guys, behave, or you will not get to sing Broken Strings by Nelly Furtado. And this one boy, there's maybe 3 boys in the class, so he lifts both of his hands up, and then he pummels down onto the floor, and you can hear the floorboards creaking, and like something falls off a table, and he growls at her. He's like, I need to sing Broken Strings by Nelly Furtado. Everyone shut up. And everyone went dead quiet. I don't know. I just think that's a funny story. And second, that was for the Players boys. And then to cater to the Hist boys, when boys are feral, is also boys who are like, I'm so good at debating feminist emotions. I am better than women. And that's their way of bragging about it? That's weird. Why would you do that? That's so counterintuitive to what you're trying to prove here. And also boys who hate the world's gender quota, because why are you mad about sending boys to worlds? As you can see, I've really married Hist and Players in this PowerPoint presentation. I'm not sure whether I want this on the internet forever, but I want to go to sleep. So here we go. Thank you. Vote whatever side we're on.
Thank you so much, Gabby. Up next we have Breed from the Hist.
Gals, pals, and dals, my name is Breed O'Donnell. I'm auditor at Hist, and I don't really know what I'm doing here this evening. Certainly, I'm really excited for this debate. I'm excited to hear what everyone else has to say. And in fact, I've suggested this motion for one of the longest time, and I'll explain the story behind that later on. But I honestly don't know why I am speaking in this motion. I don't know why I'm speaking against this motion. I think the opposition has the harder job in this debate defending Irish men. That's a heavy order. But really, this isn't really my area of expertise. I'm going to be completely honest. In my 4 years of college, I've not had a serious relationship. I've barely even had a flirtation. And complete honesty here, I am in fact a capital V virgin. God, it's really weird to say that to the camera, knowing that this will be made public, but fuck it. I'm not ashamed of the fact that I've never had sex before. I don't think anyone should be ashamed of that fact. Also, I should say that, it's not that I'm asexual. I'm actually incredibly horny. It's just the opportunity never arisen, I suppose. Where was I speaking? Yes. So then I must ask, why the hell am I speaking in this motion about, Irish men being lousy lovers? And I think the reason is simple. Because I'm a virgin, no man has actually ever disappointed me in sex. In fairness, I've never had a lover, but still, no man has ever been a lousy lover to me, so therefore, I can argue that, Irish men are not lousy lovers. Okay, I'm a bit pushing that argument. But I suppose one reason I oppose this motion is that if Irish men are lousy lovers, I feel like then as an Irish woman, I probably will be a lousy lover too. In fact, part of the reason I generally avoid sex and romance throughout my entire time in college is that I'm really scared of being crap at it. Again, like, I'm not asexual, I just have extreme anxiety when it comes to these things. When it comes to a relationship, I don't know, like, what's the standard for cleanliness, for being open. I have no idea, and it terrifies me. And then when it comes to the more sexual things, like, generally I am a graceless person. And if you factor genitals in it, I feel like that's just gonna make it worse. So I don't really want to embarrass myself in a relationship, and I certainly don't want to be labeled a lousy lover. So I guess what I'm saying is you should oppose this motion on feminist grounds. That we should collectively keep the bar low for both Irish men and Irish women. Sex is weird and relationships are hard, so you're probably going to mess it up, and you're probably not going to rock your partner's world every time you guys do the thing. But that doesn't make you a lousy lover. And I suppose that's probably, like, my main argument for this evening. With that, like, my actual argument out of the way, I guess I should probably talk about why I so desperately wanted this motion to be debated. And to do that, I'm going to have to whip out the Hist history book. Yes, the Hist has a history book. We have our own horrible history. If you don't want to read it, but you're curious, I have the Spark Notes, so contact me afterwards if you're interested. But yeah, the Hist hilariously actually debated this motion all the way back in 1972, which I think is hilarious, because firstly, 1970s, very different time to, now. The fashion, the lack of contraception rights, the fact that the Hist only 3 years earlier had allowed women to speak at it. Weird vibes all around. Honestly, I wish I was at that debate and not this debate. Not to shit on this debate. But the real reason why I wish I was at that debate was because, and this is like the crowning glory of that debate, David fucking Norris spoke at that debate. Yes, David Norris, Senator David Norris, former presidential candidate David Norris, gorgeous gay rights activist David Norris, and former Hist professor David Norris spoke at that debate. Now, at the time, he was only a lecturer in the college, but still, if you know David Norris, and you probably do, or you've seen footage of him speak, you know that he is... He's a funny man. And it kills me, it absolutely kills me that I didn't have the balls to invite him to this debate today. But who knows? The unfortunate fact is I have no idea which side he spoke on at that debate. But I'm going to lie straight to your face and say, he opposed the motion. David Norris believes that Irish men are not lousy lovers, and if that's the case, then you should oppose this motion.
Well done, Breach. Thank you so much for that. Up next, we have none other than Ms. Anna Ronaldson of DU Players.
Oh. Hey. That was, like, so good. That was really good. You who just spoke. I really liked when you said the thing, like that point about the thing, that was like so good. So my brain is like opened. Congrats. It's just so sad that now I'm gonna crush you. Must be your lucky day, because yes, it is me. Celebrated human rights lawyer and master debater, Matthew Ronaldson. And I'm here to tell you that everyone that spoke before me is fucking wrong, okay? And I'm here to set the record straight and let you know about why Irish men make such fucking lousy, lovers. Put way too much of this on. Okay, and then it's going to be like outro music and it's going to be really cute. Okay, this is Act 1, Scene 2. A little background about Irishmen. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines Irish man as someone not worth my time, or someone who probably wants to fuck their own mom, but too bad for her because she'll never get to finish. Isn't the English language like beautiful? Anyway, the trouble with these men, and the main reason why they're so lousy, is that they're like mostly well raised. Like, Irishmen are famously well intentioned and like kind, polite, a bit cheeky, but like they're not terrible people. And that's a major turn off. Unless you spit in my face, tell me I'm ugly, and mispronounce my name while flirting with my sister, I'm not interested. Now, see, the being nice thing, that's not all that bad. But it's the being nice and being mindless at the same time. A lot of Irish men are so mindless because instead of having a normal TY experience, they went on those tourist holiday missionary trips and missed out on a regular experience. You know what you learn when you just go on missionary trips? Missionary. That's all they do. That's like literally all. The only thing I really look for in a male lover is someone who's so shit that my dad has no choice but to acknowledge my existence. You really think I'm gonna get back at my dad for 20 years of emotional distance with Donald, Dermot, or Pat? Unless he can be used as a device for revenge, he's not the man for me. You know, I guess like all of my trouble with men kind of stems from my relationship with my dad. I suppose in a way it's about like reclaiming my narrative. I wonder if Michelle ever went through anything like this. I completely forgot what I'm doing. To conclude, Becoming by Michelle Obama is an amazing book and you should all read it. I crave my dad's affection and Irish men make terrible lovers. And then you can put the theme song and stuff. Yeah.
So our final opposition of the motion tonight is none other than May Leahy, the Trinity College Historical Society's basement manager from the year 2019 to 2020.
Hi everyone, I'm May, and though I found out I was doing this debate less than 24 hours ago, I have never cared so deeply about an issue. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of my backstory before I start my debate. You're probably thinking, oh wait a second, May's a big filthy players hack, what is she doing on Team Hist? Well, I've been deep undercover for the past 4 years, secretly gathering information for the Hist. I was even on the DU Players Committee as basement manager for an entire year just to dig a tunnel between the GMB and the basement. I've been training for this debate for my entire college career, and it's all come down to this. I'm going to burn your pissy little drama society to the ground, DU Players Committee. I'm going to make sure none of you can ever show your faces in the theatre industry ever again after this. Say goodbye to your €3.50 from that Seen and Heard show you produced, profit share. The closest I'm going to let you get to the gate is when I meet you at the gates of hell. My name's not even May, DU Players Committee. You don't even get to know what I'm really called. So I'm here today to explain to you how DU playmakers, or whatever, if that's even what they're called, are wrong, and how there is no way, absolutely zero way on earth that Irish men are lazy lovers. My argument is that's not possible, because there's no such thing as an Irish man. They just don't exist. The concept of an Irish man is similar to that of a leprechaun or dragon or an Irish female character played by an Irish actress. Conceptual but not real. No, Ireland is full of emotionally stunted mammy's little baby boys. So I'll bring this a little bit closer to home. The chair of DU Dramsoc, what's his name again? Sultana Prongle or something. He's not a man. he's a boy. Sultana is so afraid of commitment he won't buy but ripen at home fruit. It's also quite interesting how he is lactose intolerant, isn't it? Almost like he doesn't trust those women cows and their udders. Look, I'm not trying to emasculate you or anything, Alton. All I'm saying is that you have not earned the status of a man. You're still a little tiny baby boy in the country's eyes. But the male population of Ireland is populated by mansplainy, IPA drinking piss babies who aren't comfortable enough in their own masculinity to allow an all-female gym to open. It doesn't matter what genre you fall into. Rugby lads from Blackrock called Rourkeen or something like that still have their lunches made by Mammy. Edgy mini beanie NCAD not all men lads mansplain, or should I say boysplain, the plot of Marriage Story to you in the smoking area, but they're actually really counting down the minutes till they can go home and write a spoken word piece about you called Amber Leaf Paradox. Or something like that. Darren the 40-something is wearing his mask under his nose and breathing down my neck at the little bakery, so please fuck off so I can have my Bavarian pretzel and pan au chocolat in peace, thank you very much. How could you call any of these people a man? You can't. Men don't exist in this country, and if they don't exist, they can't be lazy lovers, can they? Thank you.
Woo! Wow, what an event, what a debate. This is actually pre-recorded, so I actually haven't seen any of the speeches yet, but I'm certain everyone was fantastic. We hope you had loads of fun at this event, and I would just like to say, in a concluding way, a massive thank you to Antonia and everyone at Players for collaborating with us on another event.
So to vote for your winner, you can hop over to the DU Players Instagram page, where there will be a poll found on the stories that you can vote in to decide who you think won this motion today. If there are any dejected Irish lovers out there who are feeling a little bit lazy, my number is 0851. Thank you so much to everyone who joined and enjoyed the debate today. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who took part, particularly the 6 gals that were debating. A big, huge special thank you to Maeve and the Hist for collaborating with us on this event. We had an absolutely brilliant time. We love a comedy debate, and we're so grateful that you guys are willing to come on board and have fun with us all the time. Thank you so much to everyone who joined and watched as well. I hope you all had an amazing time, and I hope you continue to enjoy GRA and have a great festival. So yeah, enjoy it all.